Let's talk about understanding project lifecycle. You see, every project manager must understand the key project lifecycle from initiation to planning to execution to monitoring and controlling and closing. So there are 5 key project lifecycle that you need to know. Not a lot really. And it's so interesting for you to understand. Once you understand each phase in the project lifecycle, you will really understand how you add value to a project. You see, every project at a company, a big company like, Google, Microsoft, OpenAI, they will go through those key life cycles I mentioned. And initiation is the start. Arguably, one of the most crucial part that set the stage for the other part of the project life cycle. By the end of what we want to talk about in this lesson, you'll be able to define a project, justify its needs, and get formal approval to proceed. So example is like, imagine you being tasked with launching a new app feature for like a company like Microsoft. And in the initiation phase, your goal is to outline the purpose, the benefit, the basic requirement, the features, before you can even get approval to proceed. How are you going to go about that as a project manager? Because that's oftentimes one of those things that you have to do, and we call it like business cases. Let's talk about how do you define your project objective and goals. Super important. So we're going to talk about project initiation. So project initiation is really that phase where we define our project goals, objective. We're able to actually start a project, because for a project to start, as we define in the project definition, you must be able to deliver on something of value, and you need to deliver it within a time constraint, and it has to deliver a product, service, result, or deliverable that makes sense, that is unique. With that in mind, during the project initiation phase, that is when you need to justify why that project should go ahead. Big companies have several projects they want to work on, and because they don't have unlimited budget, right? Nobody has unlimited budget. There are different things they could possibly spend money on. So it is that initiation phase that different project managers would present their business case to justify why their project will deliver the most value for the organization. Let's take Google, for example, or any fast-paced tech company. Really, the objective of having a project objective and goal is absolutely crucial, because at the end of the day, you must have a project objective and goals that aligns with the overall company business strategy. And more importantly, it must be a SMART objective, which means how can we measure it? How specific is it? Is it achievable? Is it relevant? Is it time bound? So, for example, in a company like Google, we would improve the app, like Google app. We would need to say something more specific, as we said, more smart. Like, we would increase user engagement on the app by 15% within 3 months by introducing personalized content recommendation. This is different from the earlier one of just saying we would improve the app. You see how our project objective needs to be smart to make sense in the minds of the people that would approve this. So in the second one, where we said we would increase user engagement, that's clear, right? By 15% metrics within 3 months time. And how are we going to do that? By introducing a personalized content recommendation. Now, that is a smart objective. Organizations use something called OKRs, which is objective and key results. So many companies, they want to be able to measure their objective. They don't want to just blow money and spend money on things that will not deliver value for them. And that is why for every project, they want to know, what are we seeking to develop and what is the result? If you can articulate this clearly, it would help you to be able to win that argument, because for you to initiate a project, you need to also get a business case that can win the argument. And it's one of my favorite things to do, because I really talk about business case and explain a lot about why this is an argumentative document. You're presenting your argument for why your project should be choosing and why your project will deliver value for the organization. If you're able to articulate it and document it and put the key result and put something that is measurable, smart, then it will help your stakeholder to be able to see why they should invest in that project and get that buy-in. To get the buy-in, you need to develop a business case. And how can we develop a business case? So the first thing we need to know that a business case should demonstrate value proposition and potential return on investment. And of course, it should align with the business strategy, as I've said. Those three things are important: value proposition, return on investment, and alignment on the strategic project. What do I mean? So if you propose a value, you want to build an app, you need to, as we said, say exactly what the app will be doing. Say we'll develop an app that would allow us to be able to connect, African immigrants with businesses across Australia. We need to say why that is important, how much we need to spend on building the app, what value to provide, what will be the return on investment, and how that aligns to the organization objective. If you tell Google to come and build that app right now, it may not make sense for their business, even though it's a good idea in another context. It may not necessarily align with Google's objective. Google is a search engine #1 in the world. They may not want a marketplace. They have other services, right? They may not want a marketplace that is that niche. It may not make sense for them. You see what I'm talking about? So some of the core components you must consider when you are developing a business case. Problem statement. What problem are we trying to solve? Important. Proposed solution. How are we going to be able to solve this problem? What's our approach? Cost-benefit analysis. So we want to highlight what is the financial benefit. What are the non-financial benefits as well that this project will develop? Some of the non-financial benefits may be, social cause, helping people out. There are some soft things that we can do that are not necessarily financial, but will just help us elevate our brand. That's why you need to also highlight the non-financial benefit, because some people feel like it has to be only financial benefit, which is not correct. Another one, risk assessment. So how do we identify the risk and potential mitigation for this risk? So what are the things that can threaten this? Can other competitors come and grab this opportunity, or can we even implement it, as we've said, documented on paper? Do we have the resources? Can we sustain this? Are we in the right industry? So all of these things are important for you to document in your business case. It is super important. The other thing you need to do is stakeholder identification and management. So you need to know who are the primary stakeholders, like directly involved, like your engineering team, your product team, that will be working with you to deliver on that project, depending on what the project is. Who are the secondary stakeholders? Those that are not directly, but are indirectly impacted. Maybe the legal team, the compliance team within the organization. Then we want to think about the executive stakeholders, the people that make decisions, that would approve the fund, project sponsor, senior management. Those people are important for you to consider.